Good evening, everybody, and Happy New Year. My name is Warren. I'm from Treasure Coast Webstream, and I am also starting up the new channel on Facebook called The Vibe. And I wanted to spend a little bit of time this evening maybe going over with so many of you that have emailed me and asked me exactly what The Vibe is, what it is that I'm offering, and what it is that I'm doing. So I thought I would get into it with you and maybe show you the facility that I'm going to be using to run things through. I'll tell you a little bit about my background. I've spent my life as a professional performer. When I was 17 years old, I decided that that was what my calling was going to be, and while trying to raise a family, I put 300% of myself behind going forth trying to sell myself and make a career at being a musician. In that process, I learned a lot. I learned a lot about how to promote myself. I learned a lot about how to sell product. I learned a lot about how to use social media, starting early with sites like mp3.com and MySpace, and then traveling over into Facebook. Became a little bit more difficult because Facebook was never really music geared, and it still isn't completely music geared towards the artist and getting the music and the information out there appropriately. So in that process of building the band, okay, it's from 17 until I was 37, 38 years old. That's all that I did. All the time. It took up all of my time contacting every magazine on the planet, every radio program on the planet, every way that I could to promote myself. And I took that band in those 25 years to some pretty soaring heights. We managed to play some amazing venues like Madison Square Garden. We played tours with bands like the Smithereens, got to play at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. We've done been in some amazing worldwide magazines. We played in places like Ixtapa, Mexico. We did, big tours to the United States. Played with guys like Bret Michaels and Vince Neil, King's X. I played with B.B. King. We played with I played with guys from Earth, Wind and Fire. We played with members of Kiss. We played with members of we played with Leslie West. We played with just so many different artists, and I was able to do that all as an unsigned band. Eventually, I sold 800,000 MP3s of my original stuff, and then created the band around those sales of those MP3s, which was pretty unheard of at the time. It even still is for any unsigned band to sell 800,000 MP3s, but somehow we managed to pull it off. So what I decided to do after that was really concentrate more on trying to figure Facebook out, figure out the right ways that a band could utilize it. And there really are no right ways, because they've screwed around with the algorithms, especially recently, that cause us not to be able to reach the people that we want to reach without paying for it. You remember all those posts, all those, actually, let's get to the whole Facebook pay for thing. I'll address that in 2 seconds. All right, so as far as Facebook is concerned, if you guys remember, for at least 5 years, we've been passing around that little post that Facebook is going to start charging for you to use it. It's going to start charging for you to use it. And then all of the skeptics posting back saying that no, Facebook is free because Facebook says it's free and they're never going to charge you. Well, they figured out a way to charge you. We all think Facebook is free. The concept is that Facebook is free, except they've changed the algorithm so much because of abuse of the social program. So we're going to say, yeah, but it's free, we should be able to use it as we want, except that it was created for us to interact with each other, for the happy birthdays and the invitations to invites, and to look at the kitty videos, and the little silly interactions that we do every day, okay? But now Facebook's profit margin runs on how long you stay on Facebook, which is why for a long time there, that big drive was playing Farmville. Everybody was playing Farmville or playing some kind of a bill on Facebook. And that was to keep you on Facebook longer so that the ads drove the business revenue. Okay, well, they realized that the smart ones of us were using it to promote our businesses, or if you were the lawn care guy, or if you were a photographer, or if you knew a way that you could smartly market yourself through Facebook as a smaller fish, that's what you did. You marketed yourself as a smaller fish. But Facebook saw this as a really smart idea, because the corporations got into that too, where follow us on Facebook, you started seeing popping up on TV commercials. You hit the Facebook page, you get the free coupons, blah blah blah. Well, that was all a free service now for the corporations, the big Coca-Colas and McDonald's and everybody else like that. Facebook realized that they can now make a fortune off of that situation, and they changed their algorithm so that now you have to pay to boost your post. So even if you have 200 friends, and primarily most of those are close friends and relatives, in order to reach all those close friends and relatives, you still have to pay to boost your post. So whether or not you're operating a business or you're just a private entity, you are paying for Facebook. It's no longer a free service. With that in mind, if you're going into this knowing that you're going to have to invest a little bit in order to reach that populace, there's the other way to go about doing this. The only other way to keep us all in the feed is by liking and sharing. So the more you interact with a certain group of people or with a page, the more often that those people will be in your feed. They're not always going to be in your feed, but they'll be there more often. So if you like the Treasure Coast Webstream page, if you like the Vibe page, the videos that we shoot and the programs that we're going to offer you for free are all going to show up in your feed. And the more you share it, the more other people share it and they like it, the more it's going to show up in their feeds without us having to spend the resources and private money to boost posts to get it out to people. Now, with that in mind, as we have our interviews and I bring in, say, a solo band, solo artist, a perfect opportunity for us to be able to sit here and do a one-on-one exchange in this cool multi-camera format. Now, if there was somebody sitting there and we were interacting right now, as the camera is panning towards me, it would also pan towards you in our conversation. So this would have this really cool late night talk show effect. And I'm going to show you guys in a little while now where I would fit the bands in, because you're only seeing this now as a short one-on-one interview. So I'd love to be able to get all different kinds of artists in here. If you're a poet, if you're an actor or an actress, if you create paintings, if you're a sculptor, if there's something that you do that provides a service towards the community, or you're showing your art, or you're showing your speaking your poetry. I know that there's a few poetic open mic nights out there, so if there are some poets out there that would love an opportunity to come in and speak about what they do, if you're a local author and you want to come in and talk about your book, I'd love to get you in here, because there are not enough outlets for us to be able to speak to the general populace on a free level like this. And if we create ourselves as a community, if we tighten ourselves up to a smaller little area and we all get involved and we all start coming in and sharing each other's stories and being able to watch somebody else's video, or be able to come in and there's an artist that I want to get in here and do a one-on-one with. He's a little bit shy, so I have to do some coaxing. And he knows who I'm talking about, Matt Manning. That's the only time I'll say his name. But I find out things about the people in our community, and I know that there are certain artists among us that go out and reach out to those that are in need of some spiritual healing, or some healing through music, or healing through the arts. And we'll go into old age communities and bring children or students in and sing and Christmas carol, or just do standards, or just go in to make people smile. And if you're about bringing the arts into our community, then we need to chat. We need to talk one-on-one. We need to get videos going viral. We need to share them, and we need to get them spread out among the Treasure Coast. If I have not said it in this video, I've shot a few versions of these, and I like to fly off the cuff. So if I repeat myself, I apologize. I'm not a scripted guy. I don't think we should work around the script. I think that when I have interviews in here with bands and solo artists, we are going to have a conversation just like this. We're going to fly off the handle. I will have a guided set list of things that I want to approach, but I'd like to be able to go off subject, because I think that the more personality and the more personable you become to the populace, the more the populace is going to respond to you and want to come and see you. And the more that those of you that are just into it for wanting to figure out what's going on in the area and want to get involved in seeing some creative content, we want to be able to get you all involved in that too. I want us all to be able to virally communicate with each other and share the coolness that goes on around here. I say the vibe. I was not born in the 60s. I grew up in the 70s, and I was a teen in the 80s, and the hippie culture was not my culture. It was the culture before me. Although I absolutely have to agree on some certain aspects of that, which is why I went with the vibe for this, because in any community, when there are artistic groups of people, there is a vibe around them. And if you're part of that community, if you're one of the creators, or you're one of the passionate supporters of those communities, you can feel that vibe when you get among those people. You know, when you get among a group of musicians that are, there's no way for me to describe that. When you have a group of people together, or you're two people one-on-one that are able to just sit down and be yourselves and hold on a conversation that centers around you but ties in the local people that are around you, it makes things more interesting. It makes you more approachable. It makes me really want to go and see you perform because there's a story behind you. And that's not what they get when all they see is so-and-so playing at the Square Grouper on XYZ day. You know, they're not getting the full picture of what you are, because even when they do show up, your head is somewhere else. You're thinking about your tunings. You're worried about whether so-and-so's going to show up to the gig drunk or not. You're worried about whether or not so-and-so's even going to show up to the gig hall. You're worried about whether or not there's going to be enough people there, what your set list is, if you have to change your set list based on the age back group, if you have, you know, there's so many things that go on through your mind that they don't realize are going through your mind, that you don't have a chance to be that person with them. And then even when they pull you aside and they tell you how great you are, which usually is that drunk, really staggering dude that's in the Odyssey video. If you watch that Odyssey video I did at the Square Grouper, that guy comes up to you at the end of the night, and you really only want to give him 3 seconds, but he takes 20 minutes of your time. And you want to be able to afford that opportunity to everybody, and you can't do it. You just can't. It's impossible. So I want to be able to provide that outlet. So why don't I show you where I'm going to fit the bands in, and we'll take it a step further from there. Cool? All right. You're still with me, right? All right. So hang on just a second, and I'm going to shift over the set area, and we'll move over to where I'm going to accommodate all the bands in there. All right. So as you can see, there's plenty of room here for us to accommodate a very large band. What I really want to do is fill you guys up in here, sit down with you, and be able to have a nice long discussion about you and your art, your band, what you do, where you play, your website, your favorite venues, the troubles that you have gigging out there. I have plans at some point here to also get more than one band in here. So maybe one night I'll get Odyssey and Soul Jam in, and the two bands and myself will just sit here and BS about stuff going on in the area, about clubs, about gigging in general, about their song selections, you know, any way that we can make things a little bit more personable for everybody else. We'll also get that camera panning a little bit clearer. We're on individual people, so no matter where you're sitting, you're gonna, you know, as you're speaking, the camera will pan on you. We'll have enough lav mics that would pick up the sound properly. I did not have our sound properly set up for my demonstration tonight. However, but I will be bringing Pro Tools in and setting up a real nice studio microphone setup and getting it really perfect for broadcast, and then going home and doing some cutting and pasting and things like that in the video suites to get it perfectly right. The Vibe show itself. Let's talk about that. All right, so the Vibe show itself, what I'm thinking is that we're going to have multiple hosts. We're going to have up to 6 hosts, maybe, and a guest possibly, depending on how popular it gets. But we'll have our 6 hosts sitting down here, and we're going to choose a topic. The topic could be a million things, and one of the topic would be taking an album. Examples like taking the Allman Brothers live at the Fillmore, and everybody taking that album home and soaking it in for a week. And then coming back and giving your different perspectives, 6 different perspectives of the album from start to finish, and being able to interject any knowledge that you've learned about the album or its recording process, or maybe some secret tidbits or things like that that maybe we could share among each other. And I think that when you have a group of people having fun together, sharing information, it makes it fun for others to want to be involved as well. And they'll sit with us live, they'll enjoy sending comments back and forth, and hopefully I can get some people that want to help out behind the scenes too. Because being able to host it, run it, and do anything as far as communicating with people that comment in is a little bit difficult. But you know, it opens up an avenue here where we really can take this to another level. Maybe at some point we could take it to getting a high school band in here, or at least 6 or 7 of the high school band members in here, and discussing what they love about playing a band instrument in 2018. You know, because as we all know as artists, how difficult it is as the systems are running out of money or stretching their money so far that they're removing arts from our children's lives. You know, we keep enforcing these crazy limitations on them with cutting out sugars, or not letting them have parties, to not letting them have special holidays because it offends this group or that group or the other group, or everybody's offended at something, and nobody's letting the children actually grow. And by cutting out the arts, you're cutting out there's emotion, you're stagnating their emotions. And I think that maybe getting some of those young kids in here and telling us what they're still passionate about could inspire some of us to go back to our instruments, because there are a lot of talented people out here that just don't play anymore out of frustration, or whatever reason they don't do it, because their life got altered, and you really should get back to that. And if you're an artist, then you get that emotional tie. There's so much feeling involved in that, and I want to be able to get us all involved and bring it to the people in our community. I want them to see you, know you, hear you, be able to walk up to you when you're shopping in Publix and be like, "Oh, dude, you're so-and-so from XYZ band. I love your version of this, or I love your version of that," you know? I also think that you guys should invest this time wisely in communicating to the public for the purpose that you can give them that access that nobody else is giving them. You know, we can give that to them, and have them want to come and see you. You know, I go out and I see a ton of bands, and I can't see them all because there's just so many. But when I do go out, I hear the same songs over and over again. And there's some I can handle, some I can't handle. Some are just, holy crap, I can't believe the bands are playing this song still again. Some bands out there are playing the same set for 30 years and have not changed it once, not even one iota of moved it out. And then there is some major variety in say taking an Otis Redding tune, like or some. I'm trying to think of some really cool old R&B songs that I keep hearing recently. Oh, Use Me. I've heard Soul Jam do it one way, and I heard Odyssey do it a completely other way, and that kept it fresh for me. That made me very excited to be able to. I happen to love that song. It happens to be one of my favorite R&B songs ever. There's a version of it with Lenny Kravitz and Mick Jagger that I think that I love. So you should check that one out too. But when I get to go hear two totally different sounding bands do something completely unique with a song that I love, it drives me to keep wanting to go back to hear what they're going to do next. You know, I heard Odyssey as I went. Sometimes it's difficult for me to be able to focus when I'm taping a band. So when I go back and watch the videotapes, I find little nuggets of things. And I was watching the hour and 2 hours that I did of Odyssey at the Square Grouper in Fort Pierce, and they did this version of was it Little Wing? Yeah, I think it was Little Wing. Yes. And I was just like, holy shit. You know, Pete threw some flute into it, which I totally was never expecting, and the guys did such a great job with it, made it their own. That like I can't wait to go back and hear them do something completely different again, and that's what makes it unique. When I go see Scott Hungel, these guys that I'm naming, these are all artists that have reached out to me already, and you can see the support that I'm giving them. As it is, because I believe in them, and because they've contacted me without any expectations. They've said, hey dude, we love what you're doing, and any way that we can help, we want to help. So that makes me 100% motivated to go and see them without them ever asking. When I show up at their gigs, they don't even know I'm coming. I just show up, I plug in, I start recording, I do my thing, you know, and they know that it's important for them to give their personalities to you guys, for everyone to see. So I want to be able to do that with everybody, and I can't just keep going from Melbourne to Jupiter, Jensen Beach, Stewart areas, because it's just, you know, it's an hour there, hour back, and I'm here with the facility that can accommodate all of you. So get in touch with me. The website again is at facebook.com/the TC Vibe. I had to use the TC because somebody else has already got the Vibe, and I'm just using it for a channel anyway, channel identification name, and for branding so that everybody gets involved with it. I want to address money and performance footage and things like that in 2 seconds. So as far as the performance videos, people have been emailing me like crazy about the performance videos, and that's really not part of what I'm doing as far as the Vibe is concerned. So I spoke about the one show, the first show, which is going to be basically the co-hosts and the group setting. Second part of that show is going to be the local artists, bands, and poets interviews. Second part of that is going to be, there's going to be other shows that we're going to be adding into the mix as well. Like, if I did not mention it in this one, I might have mentioned it already. We're going to do, I'm looking to do a motorcycle safety awareness for the Treasure Coast area type of show, where we can bring in guys that specialize in specific types of repairs or customizations, or clubs that are doing special benefits can come in and spend a half an hour going over what they do and why they do it and who they're doing it for and who it's benefiting, so that we can also give back that to our community as well. I'm thinking about possibly doing something with pet adoptions, possibly thinking of doing a morning yoga. I have a stage facility that I was going to show you guys in a little while. Also have a billiards room where I want to have interviews and stuff done in, but they're being occupied at the moment and I didn't reserve them. So what I have to do and what I need you to do is to get into the schedule of, if you're going to get involved, I need 100% of your help. I don't need 100% of your time, but I need you to be able to devote yourself 100% behind the project. A whole group of you have emailed me about being co-hosts. I'm going to put you all, I'm going to get a group meeting together here. I'll send an invite out, and we'll sit down and we'll discuss some things together, because I want everyone's creativity involved. I'll spearhead things and I'll guide things, and I, of course, will have final say, because I'm branding things and trying to facilitate things here on my own. But I want the creative input. I want you guys involved in coming up with cool new ideas, coming up with cool locations for us to go to. We don't have to just be here in the facility. We can go out to dinner. We can go out to a bar. We can go any place where we could sit down as a group and have a conversation. We could set up the camera and set up the microphones and roll. And we could do it on the beach. We could do it, at the Driftwood. We could do it anywhere, at that awesome table at the Driftwood. You guys know exactly what I'm talking about, because you probably carved your names in it, or the band's name in it somewhere while you were, drinking or smoking a joint or something. But I need us all to get involved, and I'm going to keep saying over and over and over again that if you like what you see and you like what you hear, you have to share it as often as you can. You got to get your friends to like it, because I'm not doing anything but devoting time to it. I'm giving that time freely, because I think that it's an avenue that I want to explore with the bands, and I think it's something that'll be very popular with you as well as the bands, to have that pro video footage, and use it for whatever reason. If you need it for your press kit, if you need it for EPK, if you need it for to get yourself a better gig, if you need it just to make yourself feel better and play it and get more fans, or whatever the case is, I want to be able to provide that as a free outlet, because I struggled hard when I was trying to promote, sending out thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars worth of mailings, hoping that some magazine would get it, and then waiting for the magazine to come out and praying that there was a review, or that I get a phone call, waiting for an interview or something, way to get it out there more. And now that I know how to utilize the marketing on Facebook and going through the video channels where people will get free content to be able to watch and learn about what's going on with you and their community, I figure, what the hell, why not? The reason why I don't offer the performance video in this package is because that is the business that I do. That's where I make my money to survive on. I provide, 100% HD quality video packages of your live performances, and even most of the ones that I have done for free, I don't show up with all of my equipment, and I don't post everything that I do, because there are private events that have been done. There have been some private auditions that I have done that have been completely streamed privately, or been password protected, or unavailable for people to be able to see. But I lose my train of thought thinking about this, because I just have, my mind races thinking about all the possibilities behind it. If you want me to shoot a live video, the costs are much lower than what you would expect to pay for a professional multi-angle shot video, with superior sound quality. We take feeds right from the board, or I could come down and set up a full Pro Tools mix, or I could come down with special shotgun aerial mics and get the perfect mix sound out of it. I have all the equipment to be able to accommodate all those things. Of course, I need to be in the situation and testing it for you to make sure I know how to get the perfect sound and things like that. And there are other options where we have multiple lav mics. I just got the option to do 12 wireless microphones, so we can have multiple groups of people here all having their separate microphone mix and being able to be heard properly. But as far as the live performance stuff goes, that's my bread and butter. And where I paid almost $10,000 for a professionally shot 5-camera Pro Tools multi-tracked video, I can provide that for you guys for less than $500. And it's hard for me to be able to quote a price to you as a package price, because each situation is different. each band's wants and needs change with the video shoot, and so the price quotes are customized based on your needs, your wants, the length of the shoot, how much editing has to go in, how many times you want it to be streamed live. You know, there's a whole other myriad of things that I don't want to get involved with the Vibe. I don't want the two are going to intertangle because I brand them together, but I don't want you to think that I'm looking to make any money off of the Vibe, or that anyone that gets involved with the Vibe is going to be making any money off of it, because I won't allow that. If I have another show that have other hosts that are bringing people in, there will not be any advertising involved. I want this to be completely free. I want this to be a completely unbiased introduction for the general arts-loving populace to be introduced to the artists that make up our area. And I hope that you guys will utilize the opportunity that I'm going to provide a little bit more. I've gotten, like I said, I got a ton of emails, a lot of interest, a lot of ideas. I have 8 bands scheduled already for starting the month out, and I want to get all of you guys in here. So as many of you solo artists, thespians, arts and crafts people, sculptors, poets, authors, whatever you do, and if there's anything that you do that you involve yourself with in giving back to our community in any way, shape, or form, I want to get involved with you. I want to give you that creative outlet. I want you to be able to sit here with me on the couch or on the one-on-one, or playing a game of pool, or even maybe get you up on my stage and doing something small. It's not music performances, but maybe a yoga class or something like that up there, a daily class. I'd love to talk to you about accommodating that. So let's have an awesome 2018. Send me as many messages as you want. Call me as many times as you want. Ask me as many questions as you want. But get involved. Share, like, get involved. It's free. Nobody's going to bombard you about buying anything. We're just going to give you entertainment. And we're going to keep trying to come up with creative, cool ways and concepts to get you to have some fun and maybe spend a little bit more time in your community, because that's really what it's all about. I come from New York, but I was raised in a tiny town in East Texas as a child. And when I moved back to New York, that was the thing that I missed. And coming back here to the Treasure Coast, it's beautiful to be able to have that small town mentality. Seeing that it's growing and it's getting more vibrant, but knowing that I can spend one type of time in Vero Beach and a different type of time in Fort Pierce and a different type of time in Port St. Lucie and a different type of time in Stewart, and really getting the message out there to these people that some of these venues, when you're out playing at these places, you're not just playing for them. You're not just playing for the people, but you're playing for the dolphins, you know? And like, how cool is that? Where else in the country do you get to play and have dolphins swimming in the ocean? And we take those things for granted when the rest of the country would love to see that stuff and love to be a part of it and love to know your experiences about it, because there got to be stories. There have got to be some kind of crazy ass stories about the wildlife in this place and bands and musicians and artists and the shit that goes on. And I'd love to get that on tape. So let's really have a lot of fun doing this. Let's send me your news if you've got news or things that you want me to talk about. I'm going to try to incorporate a news blotter into this, where we can shout things out and say important information about community events and things that are going on. I plan on touting out as loud as I can the things that go on in Vero Beach, because I'm from Vero Beach and it's going to be my easiest area to go back and forth to. So if I was able to have some ambassadors from the other towns, where if I could have somebody that was really into the Fort Pierce scene, and somebody that was really into the Port St. Lucie scene, and somebody that was really into Sebastian and really into Melbourne scenes and Palm Bay, because even though they call themselves Space Coast, they're bordering on us. If I had a representative that could do the same things and come here with me and meet me here once a week, and we could sit down and discuss what's going on in our towns, from New Year's Eve events to Christmas, special Christmas events, to light shows down the block, or to this cool thing I saw that I didn't even know existed on Facebook today, was a back trunk sale, or back of your trunk sale, where everybody shows up and sells crap out of the back of their trunk. It's like the most ingenious idea I've ever heard of. And I'd like to bring people's awareness to those things, because I don't think we're all seeing the invites to this stuff, because they're not all being posted, like I said. So it's not getting to us all like it should be. So before I sign off tonight, I'm just going to say this one last time. You got to contact me so that I can get you involved, and so that I can get involved in you. I can only give out as much as you put in. You know, I have a lot of will, and I have a lot of drive, and I have a lot of passion behind the things that I do. I put it all into it. But I can only go so far, and I can't drag a horse to water. I can't make you drink, but I can keep putting it out there, hoping that you're going to bite, and you're going to see that there's a non-biased option for you to be able to have a good time letting people know more about you. And I promise you that the more we share it, and the more we stream it, and the more that we let them know that they're local, the more that we'll get the involvement of our community in here as well. And we'll start seeing more people show up at your gigs. We'll start seeing more people following you on Facebook. We'll see more people wanting to take an interest in the other places that you play. You know, it's very hard right now, if you're playing the Square Grouper in Fort Pierce, to know or count on anybody coming to see you at the same Square Grouper in Jupiter, just because of the height difference. The distance and mileage becomes a bit of a hassle sometimes. But you'd like to be able to have the opportunity to let them know that they have that option a little bit more clearer, and I'm willing to give it to you. And I think that your clubs will be happy that you're coming in and you're expressing your gigs in a different way. That's not costing them anything. That's not costing you anything but your time. And you're getting their name out there, and they will express that to you in the long run by hopefully benefiting you in other ways, whether it be giving you better pay, or giving you a better time slot, or giving you more opportunities to earn more money. I guarantee you that the more people see you supporting them, the more they'll support you. That's the way this works. It's the only way small town works, is supporting each other. So let's make small town really big. Small town Treasure Coast could be really big Treasure Coast if we keep it among ourselves and share it a little bit. We'll share it a little bit. But there are beaches, there are bars, there are restaurants, there are bands, there are artists, there are actors and actresses and poets and authors, and if we're not supporting them among ourselves, then they're starving, and we shouldn't let them starve, because once the arts disappear, the emotion in life disappears too. It's all gone. It's all gone once the art's gone. So let's not get to that point. Facebook.com, the TC Vibe. I'm Warren. You see me on the street, I'm always gonna be the guy wearing this hat. I get laughed at all the time, or you see people pointing at me from across the room. There's a few people that have the hat similar, but I have one that's a dress hat, and I have a crappy hat too. It's just kind of my thing. You see me, call me over. Let's talk about what's going on with you, with your band, with your art, with your music, with whatever. And let me try to draw you into some of the other people that go on, some of the other people in our area that are doing pretty cool things. You know, if you're not a morning person and you're not on Facebook early in the morning, we've got a trove of photographers and videographers that head out to the beaches every morning. And I'm not going to give their names out now, because I have not discussed that with them, whether or not they would want me to put their names on video or stuff, but one of them knows who he is. Goes out every single morning and videotapes the sunrise on the beaches, or almost every single morning. I think he's been doing it a lot more lately because he's had more viewers. But there's always somebody out taking pictures or shooting video of the beaches in the mornings, and those are cool things to get involved with in here. It's never going to be me at the beach at sunrise. It's not going to happen. But I would love to get some of you guys that are doing that involved in streaming with me too, because I want to reach more people. I'd love for the people in New York. I shouldn't say that this week because, of course, this week out of all weeks, Florida's supposed to get snow, right? But I love shoving it down my brother's throat that I'm spending the day in a hot tub or at the beach or something while he's shivering, bundled up in long johns and extra coats and a blanket, and has to cuddle with his wife to keep warm. And no, it's not that bad, but you know what I'm saying. You can't beat wearing flip-flops in January. Well, not today, but you know what I mean. But if we end up getting snow this week or next week, I'm just gonna pack my shit up and move to Hawaii or something, because it's following us. Global cooling, we'll call it. All right, so I'm Warren from The Vibe, Treasure Coast Web Stream. I'm tired. I'm done streaming. And get in touch with me and let's do this upright. 2018 is going to be the year. I promise you, it's going to be the year that we're going to make it a cohesive scene. Talk to you later.